All right, welcome everybody. This is after the conclusion of the latest battles, which Scott and I thought we'd get together and have a wrap-up video for the fictional campaign that I started around the 100 days and our what if campaign that Scott thankfully joined me in and really breathed a lot of life into it, which I appreciate so much. So there's Scott. It's like 9 in the morning for me, and God knows what time it is for him. He's on the other side of the planet.
It's 5 minutes to 11.
Yeah, it's
22, 45 hours.
There you go. We're both ex-military, so we can talk stupid. All right. So we wanted to thank all of you for being for watching this and enjoying this with us. And we're just going to tactically. Scott already wrote the video of what at the end of his last battle of. At Mont Saint Jean. I don't want to get Scott in trouble.
Yeah, it's Mont Saint Jean.
A little Napoleonic fairy just died when he said Mont Saint Jean.
A little Corsican ogre dies every time you say Mont Saint Jean. There's another one.
So Scott pointed out that the whole point of the 100 Days campaign for Napoleon was to take Brussels, kick the orange basically out of. Correct me if I'm wrong, Scott.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It knocks the Netherlands out of the war. Leaves Napoleon really nowhere to go except across the Channel, and then sends the Prussians scurrying back to Germany or Prussia. So that was the original plan. But the minute it was imperative from Napoleon's perspective that the Prussians under Blücher, or Blücher, the Prussians under Blücher, and the Allied, the Anglo-Dutch, it's the Anglo-Dog's breakfast army doesn't meet up with the Prussians, because once they combine, once they get together, the odds are just far too heavy against Napoleon. So that was why the whole idea was to drive the two armies apart, fend off one, destroy the other before turning back and just destroying the other one. The fact that in our campaign Blücher has managed to get through to Wellington, at that point there's really not much that Napoleon can do. And so really what he would do at this stage, and this is the advantage he has in this campaign over the original or the actual 1815 campaign. In the actual 1815 campaign, after Waterloo, his army is pretty much trashed. The army of the north is done. Whereas in this campaign that we've been playing, Napoleon's army is still relatively intact, and he could quite easily have gone, okay, well, I'm going to retreat back into France with the army, the troops that I've got, and I'll conduct a rerun of the 1814 campaign.
Yeah. And that's something cool, especially we've been talking. We're probably going to, for the time being at least, we're not going to say, goodbye forever to this campaign, but we're going to stop what we're doing here, and we definitely, if any of you guys want to continue it and fight battles and share with the community or let us know about this new what if 1815 defense of France, that would be great, because we're for the most part departing from it to go on to something else. It doesn't mean it can't continue, because it's been a blast. And the big thing for me is, one, I have been mostly a solo gamer for most of my short miniature gaming career, but it's been great because I got to meet this guy, and it's getting more and more community members involved in this campaign and other things that we're planning on doing in the future is kind of exciting. So for Scott and I, we'll go on to that later on in the video, but it's a good place to pause and to look at something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say there was one chap who made comment on, I think, my last video, and he said, "I really, words to the effect of, really enjoying this campaign. If you have plans to do another one, I'd like to get involved." So, yeah, and that was one individual, but there could be other people out there going, because essentially it's what you have in this campaign is you've had two players playing solo, but the narrative is links the battles together, so that the consequences of one player's solo battle is going to have an impact on another player's solo battle. So and the fact that you've got one of the great advantages of solo play is you can play it in your own. You're not relying on somebody else to rock up and play with you. You can just play it out by yourself. So that's kind of handy. And if anybody's out there going, "Well, I wouldn't mind, solo playing battles if they were linked to the same narrative that you guys are running," if that makes any sense.
It did to me, so it does to me. It probably will to the rest of the world because I'm pretty simple-minded.
We can but hope.
We can't pronounce anything correctly, but we've got some ideas. Blucher, Mont Saint Jean, Mont Saint John, Mont Saint Jam.
Yeah, it goes a little course can I go.
So for future stuff coming up in a couple of weeks, we won't be. Probably we'll do a video. I'm assuming, unless we'll do a video actually together in the same room. We're going to be at Historicon together, and that's in mid-July in Pennsylvania, I think. And then we're also going to go visit the Gettysburg battlefield. And this, I know Scott's always, when we've talked before, he always laughs because he knows more about the battlefield than I do. And because I've actually never been. I actually lived in north of Philadelphia. I never went to Gettysburg, which is kind of a shame. So I'm going to right that wrong. And Scott's been how many times?
I've been there 3 times now. Yeah. So this will be my fourth trip there. And I wouldn't feel too bad about it because the amount of times I've gone to Gettysburg or Fredericksburg or Antietam, and I've been walking around the battlefields, and there've been Americans there, and it's like, you guys know nothing about this, do you? It's like you're not really across these, like, your own history. So you're not Robinson Crusoe there. There's a lot of people who think, obviously, and it's not a criticism. I'm not. Not everybody's interested in the American Civil War, but I think a lot of Americans would have a far greater appreciation of their country if they understood the sacrifices that have been made to make the United States what it is today. And for all the people who want to criticise the United States for what it is today, there's an awful lot of people that keep wanting to go there. So it's got to have something going for it.
Yeah, I'm basically first generation American myself. Both my parents are, and my entire lineage is British. So they all came from Liverpool, and they're still. My father's passed away, but my mother is. My mum is still card carrying British. So, and my sister lives in London. So it's that's my only real excuse for not getting into American history enough. But I have been here for the majority of my life, so I'd like to right a few wrongs and get out there and see it. And it's kind of nice that we're going to fly in my own tour guide from Australia to show me around America. So
I'm first generation Australian, so all my family from the UK as well.
Yeah, there you go. So back to miniature wargaming. I'm cranking out Prussians now. I'm in the middle of that. Plus, I'm doing the Victoria campaign. David Brown's. I've got scenario number 3 is it number 3? I think the Hill of
Yeah,
Arian.
the Hills of Aranez, that's the one you're playing at the moment.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
That's going.
That's
That's going down the basement. Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got Osma, then the heights, I think it's Puebla Heights.
Yeah, that's it.
And then the Hills of Aranez. I think there's 3 other battles after that.
I'm going to continue that because of, we just, one, it's fun to do stuff on the side, and 2, Scott's about to get into some World War II stuff, I think, and at some point we're going to do O group stuff. I know Scott's already way ahead of me. He's got I think, because he's been in the hobby a lot longer than I have, and he's got probably crates and crates of 15, 12 millimeter, whatever, World War II guys.
Yeah, for World War II I've got armies in 15 mil, 10 mil, 6 mil, which is kind of stupid. And that's when I had my Napoleonic collections, I've got obviously all these 28s, but I also had massive amounts of 18 mil AB miniatures, and then I've been printing my own 6 mil stuff, and then it's like, it was getting to a point where I was like, this is stupid. What I got Napoleonic armies in 3 different scales. Like something's got to give. So I ended up selling all my 15 mil because I thought I just love the Perry miniatures and the Calp and stuff like that, and also the Piano War Games miniatures are just magnificent. So I thought I'll stick with 28 mil, and I'll play that for predominantly divisional size games, and then anything beyond a division, I normally play in 6 mil.
Gotcha.
Because it's just it's just. I mean, you've got your table's like 15 feet by 6 or something.
Yeah, 15 by 7 here right now.
15 by 7, yeah. Well, mine, I thought mine was big. Mine's about 12 and a half by 6.
That's
6 foot wide.
That's good.
And I thought, man, I've got like this huge table, but compared to you, I've got table envy because mine's not that big.
You such,
table anyway.
Yeah, there you go, buddy. You got the rest of it covered.
Yeah.
But I also have that side room. I think I mentioned down in this. Lucky to have this older house. I think I could get a 20 foot by 6 foot down there. So that's gonna be a project of sometime this summer, hopefully into the fall. It's good to work. It's good to work in the basement in the summertime because it's
Nice and cool.
yeah, it's cool. Of course, you're on the other side of the different hemispheres, so you're in the middle of your winter, and we're just getting into our summer here, and it's been
insanely cold here in Bendigo. It's like, man, just absolutely bitterly cold. And mind you, it doesn't take much for someone in Australia to go, oh my god, it's insanely cold. But yeah, for your average Australian, it's like this winter has been just crazy, and we're not even halfway through it.
Yeah.
So we're only a month into it, really, and it's it's cold.
It rained here for like 3 weeks, and now it's like 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Of course, that's not Celsius.
Yeah.
We'd be exploding, and with like humidity's like a bazillion%. So it's like a swamp outside. So, but
it sounds like Darwin. But you wouldn't have the problems that we have in Darwin. I can tell you that's a cultural experience. If anyone's ever thinking about going to Darwin, all I would say is think twice.
And there you go. And this channel's not only our channels aren't only for miniature wargaming. We're also giving you tourist advice. So.
Yes. But your table, I mean, with a table as big as yours, you could turn your basement into a War Games holiday retreat.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
You could have like 8 people per slide on a table that big.
Yeah, it's gonna be at some point we'll do that. Yeah, waiting on my children. I've got 5 kids to pump out some grandkids. That's the future. Scott's already retired, so I've got some envy there. He's got my table envy, and he's retired envy. I've probably got about 9 more years in the tank where I can shut it down. So I'm ready for that myself. My wife's always giving me a hard time because I have too many hobbies, but I'm ready. I'm just ready to, because I got into this late. like most people that do miniature wargaming, yeah, I did play with toy soldiers when I was smaller, but I kind of made up my own little rules. But I kind of basically shelved that at some point, and never really got back into it until right before the pandemic, and then really got into it during the pandemic, and kind of making up for lost time. So I'm kind of this has been great, and I'm just glad the entire community has welcomed me into this. And the YouTube thing was just going to start as a diary for me to watch and maybe share with my friends, and it suddenly, like, heck, you can start meeting people, and it's just turned into something amazing, and it's made some lifelong friends, and it's I'm really just enjoying the heck out of it. I know.
Yeah. I started wargaming. Jeez. I'm 60 in a couple of weeks, and I started off. I was about 5. My mother gave me a box of Britain's toy soldiers.
I had some of those.
And
yeah.
I've always wargamed in some shape or form. And funny you should say, like during the pandemic, because during the pandemic, where I live in Victoria, it was turned into the largest open air prison on the planet.
Yeah.
You thought the Chinese locked people down hard. They got nothing on what our insane government did to us in Victoria. It was just off the charts. The only thing that kept me sane was the fact that I had wargaming. At least I could do that solo. But yeah, like I said, if I hadn't had that, I reckon I would have bloody got up the walls.
Yes.
Because we were just, what happened here during the pandemic is, I tell you what, it scarred a lot of people.
Yeah. I had the other end, because I was a nurse in an intensive care unit, so I was working 16-hour days, 6 days a week, and I'd come home and get naked on my back porch basically, and wash my clothes separately, and go to sleep for 6 hours and go back to work again. And it was kind of rough. But if you weren't in the middle of it, it didn't. I mean, even people we had other units in the hospital that didn't have to deal with COVID patients. It was all a separate little thing, and it was just I could see if it wasn't surrounded by all the death of it all, it really it felt surreal and sucky. And I don't think there was a good answer for any of it. It just kind of sucked that it happened, and I don't know.
Yeah. I'd say that the best thing is just let's not muck around with viruses.
Yeah.
Like, we've discovered this virus. What if we cross it with this virus over here? So why don't we get a super virus? Oh yeah, come on, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, no, let's not.
No, thanks.
Let's not do that shit anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway.
At least hopefully it's every 100 years, and we won't see it again. So if we go with the Spanish flu back in, I think it was it was right after World War I. I think it was
during World War One.
Yeah.
The Spanish.
Everybody brought it home with them.
Yeah, and it killed more people than the war.
Yeah. Terrible. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, let's get enough of that. Let's get back to miniature wargaming. So we're gonna pivot, and thankfully Scott can pivot any direction, which is phenomenal because he's been in the hobby a long time. I'm a little bit more limited, and that's basically what started this whole what if campaign for me anyway, just because I was limited and I only had certain forces. But as I catch up, we've got some interesting things we can do. We've talked. We're leaning towards the 1813 campaign. We've talked about the 1814, 1812. We just don't. I don't have enough Russians. I don't know what I think. I don't know how much Russians you got.
Yeah. So if you do the 1812 campaign, it's basically Russia versus like everybody else. And so unless you have a lot of Russians, it's hard to do it. Large battles. 1813 is probably the most flexible because you've got Russians, Austrians, Prussians, and you have all of them against French, which you have, Poles, which you have, some Bavarians, which you have, and then you've got the minor German states thrown in, and then during the campaign, some of them switch sides. The Austrians don't come in until the first initial armistice, and then the Russians, then the Austrians pitch in. So you've got lots of things going on there, lots of different nations involved. 1809, that's the Danube campaign. Everyone normally thinks, well, that's Austrians versus French with some Italians and some German states thrown in, but the Poles. In 1809, there was also a Polish front. So you have the Austrians fighting against the Poles and Saxons. And then you also have an Italian front where you have Eugene Baranas, Napoleon's son-in-law, fighting Archduke John down in northern Italy. So the 1809 campaign is also an interesting one.
You said the Peninsula War was going too, right? Corunna was about that time, right?
Yeah, well, the reason the Austrians decided to get all uppity in 1809 is because essentially the British were encouraging them to, because they said, look, we've got a lot of these French tied down in Spain at the moment, so we're making a bit of a kerfuffle there. So if you were to take on the French, now would probably be a good time to do it. It's funny, I was looking at a book on the Wagram campaign, and the author of it is obviously a Frenchman, certainly a French-sounding name, and he is like, it was obviously written at a time when the French weren't particularly politely inclined towards the British, because he keeps on referring to the Brits as the perfidious Albion, paying the Austrians to fight their wars. Like, how dare they? Like, it's like just somewhat biased, I think. But yeah, without a doubt, the Brits were giving money to the Austrians, but I don't think if you looked at the campaign critically, I don't think the Austrians went, we've got nothing else to do, and the Brits have thrown millions of pounds at us. Well, maybe we should just attack the French. I think it was more to do with we're itching to have a go at these French ever since 1805. We haven't quite let go of that. So and if the British are willing to give us money to fight them, all the better. So so there's that. So yeah, it's probably a good idea. Like, just suggest we could either do the Danube campaign, the 1813 campaign. The 1814 campaign's an interesting one as well, because it's widely accepted. Well, a lot of people agree that was probably Napoleon's finest campaign, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But again, and what you have there is essentially just French, and they're fighting against Prussians and Austrians and Russians. They're the main players.
So we'll put a poll out on YouTube and probably in the General des Armées forum, and who knows, maybe something else. And we'll see what the community thinks, and then we'll take all that information and we'll get together and we'll have this all ironed out. I assume we'll probably, this is only a couple of weeks away from us getting together in person. We'll probably iron it out while we're at Historicon. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
And then I think the big thing, which is really cool, is one, I'm going to lean on Scott here. He'll probably do some designing and come up with some stuff to, and maps and everything else.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure out our twin stuff. We'll probably even do some Zoom-in meetings where we play live against each other, which will be fun as heck. And then we're also going to put out feelers to the community to see if anybody wants to fight a battle with, either solo or with some friends, and we'll send you the orders of battle and where it's at, and possibly put a map together for you or something that'd
be easy. We just go, okay, in this campaign we're spearing a division off over here to secure a magazine or to secure a bridge or something, or go foraging and capture a town where we know there's lots of bratwurst and sauerkraut available and all this kind of stuff.
Love it.
And then it's just a matter of, it's just like, here's the order of battle for both sides, here's the map, and then just have at it. You know, if someone wants to play the battle, we'll concentrate on the main axes of advance and defence. But these peripheral battles, we could palm off to any of the wargaming community that want to get involved, and they can play the battle. And hell, they can even grab their iPhone and they can even film it. You know, even if it's just a condensed summary of the battle, and then they can upload it if they've got their own YouTube channel, or they can send it through, and you could upload it to your channel, Steve, or I could put it on mine or something like that. So you just have more people in the community involved in the campaign.
Oh, I hear my girl stirring around upstairs. So, and then that basically battle you would fight would have an impact on the campaign, turn into a living campaign, which will be awesome, and we'll take that into effect. Run that through Scott's brain, and logistically see how it all ties in, and so it'll be kind of neat. So your battle will have an impact on the entire campaign, and we'll just go with it until we kind of Scott and I get together and go, oh, yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
And then
that didn't go well.
Yeah.
That didn't go according to plan.
And it will. This will be more realistic. Although I fought the first, 5 battles of this What If 1815 campaign without keeping track of casualties. This one will. We're going to basically start from the ground, and it's going to be well tracked. It's going to be a lot more realistic, and plus it won't be completely a fictional farce that was brought on by the fact that I just happily got donated Russian, Prussian, and Austrian troops, and I couldn't really do anything. Did not enough to do a separate non-1815 fictional campaign. So I think this will be a little bit more fun, because Scott will be brought in at the beginning and not halfway through, and that's like, oh my gosh, what have you done? It's like you've fallen asleep at the wheel and driving through a minefield, and you go, hey, can you drive for a minute? And you're like, what?
Where are we? Where are we?
How can I make this halfway decent?
How did we get here?
Yeah, and
I can tell you a story about that, actually. An actual real story. I'll make it real quick. I've got to tell you this. When I was with the Multinational Force and Observers in the Sinai, I was a Force Operations Centre Sergeant. I had another sergeant with me, and we got a pass to go to Masada. So we drove out of the Sinai, and we were going to go to Masada for the day. And I'm sleeping in the vehicle, and we're driving along. Okay, mate, you just follow this. I said to my mate, this infantry sergeant, I said, mate, just follow this. Can't go wrong. And we're driving along, and then he starts smudging me. And I wake up, I'm looking around me in this. I went, this can't be right. Like, where the hell are we? And I was like, oh, we're near Bethlehem. It's like, whoa, we're not supposed to be here. And then we pulled over, and an Israeli army patrol comes up. What are you people doing here? I don't know. I'm not quite sure. We're getting funny looks from all sorts of people. Anyway. Yeah. So it does happen. It wasn't a minefield. It was just in a. It was just a place where we really, really weren't meant to be.
Yeah, just an international incident. Nothing big. Australia.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like. How the hell did we get here? I thought you were like. Yeah, it was funny. Wasn't laughing at the time though. I must admit, weren't laughing at the time. Yeah. Israeli army patrol pulls up and they go, "What are you doing here?" Oh, we're not sure. Well, we can't stay here. We don't want to stay still for too long. We'll get shot at. And they skip it off. Like, yeah, that's down near us. You attract all the shit. So, yeah. Anyway, that's a story for another day.
There you go.
When we get to Historicon, we can narrow out all the details. So that's what.
About 3 weeks.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah, 2.5 weeks. Yeah.
It's not that long now.
Yeah.
And so if we put a poll up, and by the time I get the Historicon, we should be able to go, okay, this is the campaign we're going to go with, and then we'll just nut out the logistics of it. And it's really not that difficult. If anyone's out there thinking about, I wouldn't mind playing my own campaign, it's really not that hard to do, really. And wargamers have a capacity to like rationalise and justify anything. It's like, why are these barbarians fighting against these Saxons? They were, it's like, oh, well, you can always come up with some kind of political narrative to make it plausible.
Yep.
So there's always that.
Yeah, I'm excited about this because now I've thankfully been working through my Austrian, Prussian, and I've got some more Russian guys to put together. So now I can start taking part in these, these the main protagonists in Central Europe and of course the Russian bloc stuff. So that's it's just kind of neat for me, opening up some new doors by painting some new troops. At some point, I took a run at it, I think last year of 3D printing, and I basically I was able to return everything because I was just not succeeding. So my big goal is to touch base with Scott, basically get the same types of machines he has, and because he's had a lot of success with it, and to start 3D printing stuff, and I think using those big tables to play maybe epic scale, or probably what I'll paint depending on what kind of what are they called, little files?
Oh, the STLs.
STLs. And then, it would be fun to, and I can print 28mm, I don't care, but it would also be fun to print this. I am going to get into epic, I'm in the middle of it, epic Civil War stuff. I got to get that done. And Scott's got, one of his, I think you said one of your biggest collections is your Civil War stuff.
Yeah, it's probably my largest collection is American Civil War in 28mm.
I think after we get done with the next Napoleonic game, I'd like to do if Scott's willing. I'm not putting him on the spot here. We've actually talked about it, but I'd like to do a big Civil War campaign thing. That'd be kind of fun to run. Yeah, and we could do I don't want to do out west. I'd rather do around the eastern part of the country. That'd be kind of fun. And
like the Army of the Potomac and the Army of Northern Virginia type stuff.
And just use the roads, get a good map, have some fun, and we can once again invite the community to that, because I'm hopefully we've got another good 20-30 years of wargaming left in us. Scott's about 9 years older than me, but he's a robot. He's gonna live forever, and
I'm trying.
If you keep your back from spasming out, we're good.
It's like I'll tell you, when it's time to go, I'm gonna go kicking and screaming.
Yeah, we might be playing the final campaign in a wheelchair, both of us, but
leaning on a Zimmer frame. Just every now and then hit the table with a Zimmer frame. I'm a stupid game. What are they doing?
So I don't know.
Forget what we're doing. Just
at
the table and like,
we popping
what am I doing here?
We're popping pills to try to remember what week it is and not piss our pants during the broadcast. It'll be kind of fun.
Yeah, that's it. What am I doing?
But that's the plan, I think. Scott, you got any final thoughts or anything?
Nah, that's pretty much it. This 1814, this What If 1815 campaign's been a hoot, but it's pretty much run its course now. But that's not to say that, like I said, if people want to continue on with it, we can provide all bats and stuff like that for them. That's easy done. But the next one, I think, me personally, I think 1809, the Danube campaign, is a good one.
Yep.
But then again, so's 1813. But
we'll figure it out.
Whatever. They're all good. There's like, I didn't play a Spanish the Peninsular War campaign.
It's been I did some Peninsular in the past, but it really wasn't accurate because I didn't have any Spanish or Portuguese or Brunswickers. So that's on my bucket list to get those done. Yeah. All right. We're going to sign off this video. We want to thank you all for enjoying this with us and being part of it and commenting. And it's been awesome. and we're looking forward to more awesomeness. So we'll probably pause this after Scott says goodbye, and we'll just shoot the poop for a minute, and then Scott's going to bed, and I've got to work on my honey-do list.
I just wanted to say one. It just popped in my head just then. Steve and I have been playing these games solo. Now, what that means is, it doesn't matter how well you know the rules. When you're playing solo, sometimes you'll forget things, you'll miss things, or you'll get confused with another set of rules that you were playing just yesterday. So, solo, when you're playing solo, you don't have anyone, you don't have that independent check, someone going, oh, I think that rule's incorrect. And that's just part of, that just goes with the terrain when you're solo playing. And it's good that when people, like, if I'm playing a solo game and I upload the video, and then someone comes back and goes, oh, I think you did this wrong, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, good, I'm glad you picked it up. But it's also, it's one of those things that's it's an inevitability. It's going to happen. You know, people will make mistakes. So when people watch our games, we try to get the rules as right all the time, but sometimes we'll mess up and we'll miss things because we're mere mortals and we're fallible, so we make mistakes. The best thing you can do is, like, by all means, watch the games and stuff like that. But if you want to have a really good understanding of GDA or any other rule system we use, make sure you have your own copy and you read it. Don't rely on us being the font of all things correct and knowledgeable, because we'll make mistakes. It's just the nature of the beast when you're playing solo.
Well, that's awesome. And Scott, say your thing at the end. You always do.
Sorry, mate. What was that?
Say your thing you always say at the end of your videos. Your
Oh yeah, ubiquate.
Yeah, and I was with the Marines, so I'll say Semper Fi. All right.
All right, mate.
Cheers, guys. We'll see you.
Take care.